What's happening, YouTube? You're watching Steel City MOTOVLOGs. I'm Derrick T, and this is the day. It's going down on our way to Norfolk, Virginia. I'm getting ready to head out and meet the fellas right now. So roll the intro. YouTube, this is what we do. Yeah. What's happening, YouTube? So, yeah, let me tell you about Thursday. What you're gonna see is all of the footage, well, not all of it, but essentially what we did on Thursday, riding down to Norfolk, Virginia for the annual meet and greet for the Facebook group Men and Women Who Love to Ride Motorcycles. I made a huge mistake, and I'll get to that in a minute. The first thing is that when we got there, I really felt like a champ. And the reason why was because all the recording I did, I got down there and I figured out that the SD card that I was using was full, 256 gigabytes, 100% full from the trip riding down there. So I really got down there feeling like a champ. That was the Max 360 and also my GoPro Hero 8 Black. They both had full SD cards. So 256 gigs on the Hero 8 Black. That's what you see on the front of my helmet. And that's actually what I call Cam 1 in my production process. Cam 2 is the Max 360, and that had 128 gigs, and that was also full. So I was feeling like a champ when I got there. I was like, man, I really did that thing. So this is where the issue started. The very first issue was in a problem this big. This is an adapter for a micro SD card, which is this big. You plug that in like so, and you slide it into the computer. Only problem was I had my work computer with me and not my personal computer. And which is, again, not a problem because the video editor that I use, WeVideo, is an online editing software. So once I drop everything into WeVideo, I can manipulate it on whatever device I want as long as I have an internet connection. So I get down there and I figure out that my work computer doesn't have an SD card reader at all. Not only does it not have an SD card reader at all, I also didn't have the adapter that I needed. So I ended up hardwiring the GoPro to the computer instead, thinking, you know, I'll just drop it this way. I ended up having to do a whole lot of extra steps, and being 100% honest, when I thought I had done what I needed to do with the one SD card, I cleared it so that I would have room the next day to keep on recording, and only to find out that I cleared footage that I never saved. And that was from the ride down. So what you're seeing is Cam 2. What Cam 2 caught, we're actually leaving out of Breezewood, PA, headed down I-70 towards Maryland right now. And in a little bit, you'll actually see us stop by the sign for Maryland and hop off the bikes, take a quick picture, and hop back on the bikes and everything else. But what you're seeing is all of my Cam 2 footage, and I'm having to drop this clip in to kind of explain what happened there. So but the conversation going down, I do remember it, and it's going to be an ongoing theme. You're going to hear this theme, you're going to hear me use this theme a lot this weekend, and that was get outside of the normal. And I don't know if you can see it on my vest that I'm wearing, but there's a patch there that says normal is boring. Let me drop that on your screen right there. Normal is boring. First of all, whatever you're talking about is normal. Normal is different to everybody. All right, no two normals are the same. No two people are the same. No two normals are the same. The first thing you got to do is define what your normal is. And for most of us, it includes some version of working, paying bills, taking care of children, family obligations. There's, and possibly, some religious commitment. That's usually the 5 things that constitute a person's normal, give or take. All right. For me, getting out on this bike and going hundreds of miles away from home against no matter what elements happen, if it rains, if it doesn't rain, whatever the case is. And we got a little bit of that on the way down. But for me, being free on the bike to travel state to state to state is something that doesn't line up with my normal. It's not something that a person in my normal circle of influence would tell me, hey, yeah, get out there and do that. As a matter of fact, a lot of people who are associated with my normal would tell me, dude, why would you do something that crazy? So for me, getting out and away from the normal and to do something that I'm passionate about really means a lot to me. And this particular trip really, really, really defined that for me. So that was part of the conversation that I had going down. I wish I had the footage to prove it to you, but I don't. But yeah, that was the conversation on normal is boring. There's another patch on my vest that says this quote: danger is real, fear is a choice. And that's another one of those creeds that I kind of live by. Even as a biker, as a rider, if I'm going short distance, if I'm going long distance, listen, we get on these bikes, we get on these 2-wheel machines, and the risk is imminent. The danger is there. It comes with the territory. Being afraid to tackle it, and the only reason that you have is fear, well, that's a little something different. That's a choice. And the funny thing is, I bring that up because before I put that patch on my vest, I actually had an experience where I decided against going on a trip with some people because I was afraid to go. I hadn't been riding terribly long. I was still kind of learning, not very confident, and I just didn't feel like making that particular trip was a good idea. I saw Facebook pictures and videos of the event that I missed out on, and I said to myself, I'm not going to be afraid next time. I'm not going to be too scared to do it next time. And a next time came up, and I wasn't much more experienced, but I ended up taking the trip. We went to Columbus, Ohio. It's about maybe 3.5 hours from here in Pittsburgh. At that point, that had been the farthest I had ever been away from home on a motorcycle, and I was nervous, downright scared. But I didn't let it stop me from doing it, and I'm a better rider because of that. So taking on the fear, taking on the danger, being aware of the danger, being as safe as you can possibly be is one thing, but to choose not to experience something out of fear is, in my mind, crazy. I wouldn't make that choice again if I had to. So that was a little bit of the conversation that we had about the patches on my vest. I don't just buy random patches, but I buy things that mean something to me. And those 2 patches are kind of the creed that I ride by. Normal is boring. Get outside of your normal. And also prepare for danger, but don't be afraid of danger. Those would be my messages for, anybody who's listening. All right, so you're probably wondering why we pulled over right here. This is actually the point where we crossed the state line into Maryland. I had suggested to the group that we stop at every state sign and take a picture, and that kind of got away from us during the trip. And the reason why was because of the route. We actually weren't expecting some of those state lines to come up as quickly as they did. We crossed from Pennsylvania into Maryland pretty quickly, and then West Virginia really snuck up on us. Like we all saw the sign, but there was just no way we could stop in enough time to be safe and everything else. And so we just kind of let it blow by. But the one that we did get where we were able to stop and pull over was Maryland. And so here's a couple pictures there. And I guess if there was going to be a picture to be taken for me, Maryland is the one that works. And the reason why is because that's the new state that I've seen now on my bike, and I can add that state onto my riding resume, if you will. So off the top of my head, my bike has seen Ohio, and that was a pretty simple one because I actually bought the bike in Ohio. But that day, the bike saw 2 states because I went to Ohio to get it, and I brought it home to my home state of Pennsylvania. I've seen West Virginia before, also Virginia, where we went this time, but I've been through Virginia before, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. So those are the states that I've seen on my bike so far. I've got some more riding to do because I definitely have some more states that I want to see. Yeah. With all these. I was looking like, Reesewood ain't too far away. Right? Too far. Yep. Some nice looking machines right there. All right, y'all. We pulled over to get out of the rain gear, go to the bathroom. I think some people are getting a bite to eat. I'm running in here to go to the bathroom. We're gonna grab some fuel. I'm gonna give it, based on what my knowledge of this area is, probably about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours outside of Norfolk. And yeah, it's been a good ride to this point. A couple little things here and there, but nothing major at all. So I'll be with y'all when we get back on the bikes. All right, you all, thanks for tuning in. Listen, this is just the first part of the trip, and that was just us making it from Pittsburgh into Norfolk. The ride was great. We didn't really have any hiccups or anything else like that. It rained a little bit off and on, but nothing that did a whole lot of damage. The ride was great. The fellowship was great. And hey, stay tuned for part 2 of this series coming up in the next day or 2. All right. Until then, this is Steel City MOTOVLOGs. I'm Derrick T, and thanks for watching.